How to make $1 million a year in wholesaling real estate. How to get rich by wholesaling houses. What is up, guys? Zach in here, and in this video, I want to give you the honest truth about what it takes to make $1 million in wholesaling real estate, what it honestly takes to become rich in this business, and ultimately the step-by-step tutorial on actually how to scale up your business. And I know if you're watching this right now, like Zach, I'm not looking to make $1 million. I'm looking to make $10,000. I'm looking to make $15,000. I'm looking to make $100,000. I can't even think of $1 million right now. Guys, in this video, I'm going to show you everything you really need to know, basically to go from $0, no money at all, to over $1 million a year in your wholesaling real estate operations. That is the point today. That is what we're getting ready to go, and that is what I'm here to share. Before we get into it, do me a big favor. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and we're going to break it all down today. Make sure, guys, that the audio is working. So we are live here, and really that's what we're going to do. It's where we're going to break it all down today. Make sure, guys, audio is working. So I got a little mic here, so hopefully things sound a little better. But guys, that's what I'm here to basically share with you. Most real estate gurus, shmuru coaches, scaling experts type thing, you probably got an ad before this video about it. They're all going to charge you $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 to teach you how to scale up an operation, and half of them haven't even scaled going up. The reason why they do that is because then they think, well, if you're making $300,000 a year and want to scale to $1 million, you can give me 20, 30K because you got the money, right? And the honest truth is you need to use that money for your own business, people, delegation, things like that, not for a stupid little guru. Because if that guru has made, millions of dollars scaling up their operations, they don't need to ask for your money. The reason why I'm making this video right now, maybe you're making like $250,000 a year, want to get to $1 million. Let me be honest with you, like I make enough money. Okay, I don't need your money. I'm not being greedy here. Okay, like I don't need your money right now to teach you the business. I just want to help you out because this business has taught me and given me more than I honestly could ever imagine. So that is the point. That is what we're here to basically share today: how to make $1 million in wholesaling real estate operations. And I think one thing y'all got to understand first is we're at my place. So this is my home studio. So, like the regular studio, it's just me in here. Rick's probably watching football or something. This is my personal channel. So it's just me here teaching you exactly what you guys need to know. So that's what we're doing. That's where we're getting ready to go. So let's kind of break this down. Let's share exactly everything you need to know, guys, and get it, guys. And if you want to talk to me one-on-one, I'll put the StreamYard link in right now so you guys know exactly how to hop in, talk to me, and let's break it all down. So let's kind of break down the first thing, okay? And I want people to understand this, and I don't want to get too guru shmuru on you because I feel like you kind of talk sometimes. People can talk and they get a little too guru-esque. And it drives me a little crazy when people do that. So I don't want to get like too crazy guru on you. But I want you guys to understand about making $1 million in wholesaling. Like that is the point today, going from $0 to $1 million. And I know I've said it a lot of times, but the honest truth is you can use any of these principles to make your first deal, your second, third, fourth, fifth deal, right? Like I just want people to understand that it's good to know this knowledge. And what I'm going to basically bring to you is how to basically make 100K, but like at a bigger scale. And that's the point. So one thing I want everyone to understand, and I do say this starting out, $1 million is just a score. And I just hope you guys understand that. Like it's just kind of a base. It's kind of a model to be going after. It's not like the cure-all, right? Becoming a millionaire in wholesaling real estate doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you a better human being. It doesn't make you worth more or have a better value. The only thing it's going to do is increase your net worth. Just a score in life, right? Because the more money I make, it doesn't make me a better person, right? I can make more money and give more charity. It doesn't make me a better person. Like if I made less money, I give the same percentage to charity. Like it's all relative to a point. So I just want to understand that like making money in wholesaling and like scaling up, like once you get over 100K, and I know this sounds very, I hate to say, I guess this sounds very privileged from someone that runs a 7-figure wholesaling operation, but like once you get above 100K, you're kind of at the point where it's like, you're not going to get any more happy going from 100K to 200K and from 2 to 4, like in that moment. But like your human brain's constantly want to just keep going up and up and up and more. It's just sort of like a video game to a point. I don't want to, make someone feel bad for that. If like, I mean, obviously you got 8, 9, 10 kids. Okay, we're going to make over 100K, right? But like, it's sort of like a video game when you go from level 100. You don't want to stay at level 100 for a year. Like that seems terrible, and you don't think you're like progressing, which makes you feel like you're worse at whatever you're doing. And I feel like that's why human beings always want to keep going up and up. And I get it, right? But it takes a lot of maturity to understand. It's like you get to a certain amount of money, it's like you don't need that anymore. And you're just kind of doing it like a game. And why do I keep scaling up my wholesaling operations? I pretty much look at it as a video game. And like because I'm making millions and millions of dollars and I just want to keep adding millions to it, it's pretty much like a video game to a point. It's like how crazy it'd be to like just run this up and do something no one in my family is able to do, or like anyone. And obviously I'm part of my dad, so we kind of do it together, but like you look at both of us compared to our family, it's crazy, right? And that's sort of the point. I just want you guys to understand like the money's not going to be your worth here, but it works. So what am I teaching you guys today? I think this is something that's very, very useful. I think this is something that a lot of people really overcomplicate. So this is what I'm sharing. So actually, first of all, before I kind of break that down, I just want everyone to understand, like, who is this Zach Gang guy? Why is this 23-year-old kid mansplaining me, wholesaling splaining me? Why is he Zach splaining me how to make $1 million? What does this 23-year-old kid know? Like, well, why is this kid coming out here? How does he have the audacity to tell me what to do? Now, humbly, if you go to anything, like any of my HUDs, anything I do, the results I get, you guys know I'm legit. I post my HUDs, I show my deals, I show what I do. I and Rick together, me and my dad, we collectively run a 7-figure wholesaling operation together. We have scaled it up from making hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And if you have the JV operations, not particularly the deals on the JVs, but like if you really add in basically the joint conglomerate of the deals I'm able to do with deals that people send to us, people send us in, it's an insane amount. And if you kind of add everything we do together, we're making millions and millions of dollars and just kind of run up the score. So the first thing is like I've run a 7-figure wholesaling operation in my own personal market. Then I started transitioning to doing virtual wholesaling, adding more millions on top of that. And now I'm kind of at the phase now where I want people to JV and send deals to me so I can get kind of a third way to make millions of dollars. Hence, I have this YouTube channel. So I teach you guys absolutely for free. Maybe you guys want to send me a wholesaling deal or not, no big deal, right? That is the point of what I'm doing. So the two biggest questions everyone asks before we get into this is like, first of all, Zach, why do you think you have the audacity to ask me? Well, I run a 7-figure wholesaling operation. I feel like I can tell you how to do it and I'm doing it for free. So why not? Second is like, why are you doing this, right? Like you could probably make millions of dollars selling a course on this. Well, I'd rather make millions of dollars doing wholesaling deals because, you know, first of all, it makes the gurus feel bad about themselves. And I'm not greedy. And I honestly, like, I'd rather you do deals and do money with me than charge you a bunch of money for it. And you get the same best value from it. So that's kind of the point. That is why a 23-year-old kid is telling you this, because I've done it for real. I've put in the grind, I put in the sweat, I put in the tears, I put it all. I put everything online for wholesaling, and that's how I get it. So how do you make $1 million? And the best way I can look at is how I've done it in my own business, right? And the way that I scale up a wholesaling real estate operation is completely different than the guru ones. I'm going to share exactly the difference, the profitability levels, like every single aspect that's different when I scale up a wholesaling real estate operation, especially a virtual wholesaling real estate operation, than with the guru. Because I'll give you a quick spoiler. The difference between me and a guru that makes $1 million, like, okay, more than $1 million, but like making 7 figures a year is I work 5 to 10 hours a week. And the guru is working 100, let's say 80, 90 hours a week. Let's be nice, okay? That's the difference between us. We make the same amount of money, except I'm working a lot less and I'm a lot happier, right? So that is the difference between us. And that's kind of what I'm showing you to do. Like, here's the thing. A lot of people teach you how to make dollars in wholesaling. I see some gurus on it. It makes me funny. If I drop names, y'all would just be shocked. But like, they teach you how to make $1 million, but like they taught you a job, because to make $1 million the way they teach is you have to work 70, 80 hours a week. If you have a kid, what's the point of that, right? Like if you have family, what's the point of that? Just work a regular job. Like get the safety at least when you're doing it, right? And that's sort of the point. I just think so many wholesalers, before I get on a rant, I got to stop myself. It's like the point of scaling up to $1 million is not to make $1 million to a point, right? It's to make $1 million, which is the most, like, there's two reasons why to scale up, right? Number one's money. Number two is time. If you're scaling up just to make more money, that sucks because you're losing that time, and you can't really put a price on time. And that's what I'm trying to teach to you guys today, is because if I teach you how to scale it to $1 million and you're working 10 hours a week versus scaling up to $1 million and working 70 hours a week, you're pretty much making $7 million doing the 10 hours a week because, and most importantly, you get 60 extra hours a week of free time for you and your family. That is the point. That's why I teach you. That is why I'm different. No guru will ever teach you how to do that because no guru doesn't work 10 hours a week in just wholesaling real estate operations because they're broke gurus. They don't know what to do. And most importantly, like they keep grinding. They honestly just don't care about the families or they care about people to a point. And I think that's a really important part. I care about my family. I care about my friends. I care about having a balanced lifestyle. And that's kind of what I teach, right? And I'm not the average person. Like, guys, I'll tell you straight up, if I wanted to work 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week, I would probably be in the tens of millions of dollars every single year in profits. I wouldn't run a YouTube channel. I would literally just be wholesaling and scaling up and working my butt off. I would have no personal life. Like I have pretty much no friends probably, a terrible family life and all this stuff, but I'd make $10 million. I don't value that. I don't think that's cool. And I'm on my way there. I'm 23. And so I'm on my way there, but I'd rather do it to a point where I don't have to work as hard and I can kind of have people leveraging it for me. So that's what I do. That's what I'm going to teach. I just want everyone to understand this. And I'll tell you this straight up. And this is the last little rant I'm going to get to, and then we're going to talk about this. If you are not able to sit down for an hour or two and watch this video, like just of me explaining it as in excruciating detail as possible, what it takes to scale up an operation. If you can't take 2 hours to do this, you will fail in scaling an operation because scaling a wholesaling real estate operation comes down straight up to patience to a point. Patience with people. If you cannot train your employee for 2-3 hours teaching someone how to cold call, if you don't have the patience for that, you're going to fail, right? Like if you only spend 2 hours watching this video for free on how to scale up your operation, you're doomed for failure because my acquisitions people sink hundreds of hours into just teaching them how to do acquisitions the right way. And it sucks, but the truth, it's the only way around it for me to do it the way I do it. So just want to understand that. So how to make $1 million, really the phases and the things I teach here, it's basically how to make $100,000 per year. Think about what it takes to make $100,000 per year in wholesaling real estate and just 10x that. And I know it's like, what does that mean, right? So what I mean by that is how to make $100,000 a year and then multiply that by 10 times that amount. So I want to make $100,000 per year, multiply that by 10, and you will get $1 million. That is what I'm trying to teach you guys because you just got to do 10 times the effort of making $100,000. And this can sort of come into a lot of different ways, right? Because if I'm working 60, you might be saying, like, Zach, I'm working 60 hours a week making 100K. How I can't work 600 hours a week. That's the point, right? Like you have to use delegation, you have to use leverage, you have to get people to do it for you, or you can kind of do it all yourself by changing some parts of your business that I think so many people are missing out. So one really like easy way, and this is kind of something I've always told people, but I get people coming up to me all the time like, Zach, how do I go from making 25K a year in wholesaling to making 100K a year in wholesaling? And people want me to say like, do 4 times more deals, grind, right? And that's not how you do it. And that's the guru way. That's the broke way. That's the way that's like sexy, make a little TikTok on it, make it look all cool, right? That's not a true way an actual a successful wholesaling real estate person will tell you. You can look at it from different perspectives. I look at it from my perspective. Why don't you get 2 more deals, not 4 times more deals, and just double your profits? So if you're doing let's say you're doing one $25,000 deal. So a guru would probably tell you to do 4 $25,000 deals, which is fine. Depends on your market, obviously. That might be pushing it to like if you're in Detroit, 25K, whoa, like it's insane. But like in my market, that's kind of on the lower end. Why don't you just do 2 $50,000 deals? Because doing 4 deals is twice the effort of doing 2 deals because a deal is a lot of effort. And it really comes down to focusing on people, systems, things like that, lists, the right scripts, everything like that. And I think that's really important, right? Because like I had somebody hop on me, I did a one-on-one this week, and they're like, you know what, Zach, I did 7,000 cold calls and it didn't work. And I was like, all right. Like I think a lot of people want to say, oh, you should quit this business, right? And I was like, well, let's see what the script, let's see the list, let's see the systems. And actually the list was fine. It was the script and the confidence which was the main issue. Like there's always a reason for it. And that's why I'm here to help. So guys, you're not alone on this journey of making 100K a month. I'm here to do one-on-one calls. I'm here to help you out. So you got to ask yourself this, and every single person, even if you have 0 deals right now, you have to ask yourself this question, okay? You have to ask yourself this, and this is super important. What phase of wholesaling real estate are you in? Ask yourself that question, boys and gals, men and women too. What phase of wholesaling are you in currently right now? I want you guys to think about that for a second. What phase of wholesaling are you in? Because maybe this isn't even the right video for you. And if this is not the right video, that's fine. Even if you're trying to make 100K, this video will serve you. And I have some one-on-one calls. I can always help you out, right? But I want people to understand this. And this is something that I've kind of said on the Flip of the Hook channel, but like this is something I kind of want to introduce on this channel. And no one ever talks about this, but like they're in wholesaling real estate from the day you start to the day you die. Because people usually don't quit wholesaling, they do well, right? You're in it for life, okay? It's like Fight Club. Like you're in it for life. It's like being a Miami Dolphins fan. Even though I go through so much pain being a Dolphins fan, I'm in this for life, okay? I did the entire initiation, right? To be initiation for a Dolphins fan, you just have to watch 3 games and not cry, which it's just expected at this point. But one thing I can tell you is what phase of wholesaling real estate are you in? There's 4 phases in wholesaling. There's 4, just 4. Every guru can say whatever. This is the funniest part. Wholesaling gurus complicate this business on purpose to try to sell you a simple solution. And what I do is I just show you what the simple solution is, because wholesaling real estate is actually really simple. And this is a whole concept we're going to talk about tomorrow on this channel, which I'm excited for. But your entire evolution as a real estate wholesaler comes down to 4 things. And to make $1 million, you have to be on phase 3. So what are the phases, right? Phase 1, I call this the learn and earn. This is basically my first year in wholesaling real estate. So my phases were actually a year apart. So it took me about 4 years to get to my abundance stage. I'm in year 5 right now, about to hit 6. Oh my Lord. Actually, I think, yeah, it's oh my gosh, insane. I think I am in year 6. I got to check. I'm just too big. Yes, I am in year 6. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. All right. 6 years into wholesaling. All right. 6 years into wholesaling. So my 6th year took me 4 years. I didn't realize I was in 6 years of wholesaling. Holy moly. I got to change my bias. Okay. Let's get into it. Sorry, guys. That kind of blew me away. I'm 6 years in this business, but time flies, guys. So let's talk about this. Okay. So it took me about 4 years to hit it. All right. So let's talk about this. Let's get it. All right. So number 1. Phase 1. This is my first year of wholesaling. This is when I was in high school. I made 100K before I graduated high school. I call this the learn and earn phase. This is when you make all your mistakes. And you make mistakes. I even make mistakes right now in my business, but this is where you make most of your mistakes. You're basically earning, but you're learning on the job. You're failing with sellers. You're going to appointments. You're super nervous. Things are getting real, right? I don't call it a throwaway year, but it's like your freshman year. If you're playing a sport, you're a freshman, okay? If you do a deal, if you don't do it, you're learning, okay? The thing about sports, and I always love sports as an analogy, is because you get a freshman in there in a college. There's freshmen that came in there way better than you, but at the end of your senior year, you're not the same wholesaler, you're not the same player, right? And I think that's the best analogy for it. And it's like your freshman year of it's kind of like your freshman year of high school versus your senior year of high school. You're not the same person at the end of that, right? Some people are, but most of the time you're not. You're a completely different person. And I think it's really funny the way you look at it. And that's the way you look at year 1, right? I made 100K, not a lot of people do, but that's what I did. I caught my learn and earn. I made a lot of mistakes, right? And for a lot of people, 100K a year, you can be a learn and earn for 3 or 4 years, right? Everyone's on their different path, okay? Everybody's on their different path in life. That's when you see somebody and they're having a bad day and they might be mean, don't be mean back. You never know what somebody's going through. So you should always treat people with the utmost respect and kindness, unless they're a guru. But even gurus deserve respect. I'll tell you that. But from 0 to basically 100K, everyone's on their own journey in life, right? So there's no problem with it. It's just phase, right? So phase 1 is basically learn and earn 100K a year. Number 2, I call this my grind phase. This was that's 100K a year to 250 a year to 300K. I'll be honest with you. Phase 1 was, I was working 10, 15 hours a week on learn and earn. I was putting up banner signs, high school. I was having a blast, right? Grind phase was hands down. I'll tell you straight up, and this is no guru's going to tell you, this is going to be the most awful, excruciating, mentally challenging, especially when it comes to business, mentally challenging phase in my life. It beats the cake at anything. Okay, like in business, this was probably the point where most people break, and that is the point you have to get through. It is like a gauntlet. It is like you have to go through the. It's kind of that rite of passage for a lot of wholesalers when it comes to becoming rich, because everyone goes through that struggle, right? And some people have that struggle being broke, but you get the struggle in the grind. Nipsey Hussle says it's the best, and they're stuck in the grind. I was in that grind all the time. Like, you're not making any more money, but you're just working your butt off, and you are pushing yourself. You're burning the ends of 2 candlesticks, or burning the midnight oil, whatever way you want to call it. Rick's better at the analogies. But like, it's the hardest one. And this is the point where when you go from phase 2, that grind, into that scaling phase, that's kind of what we're talking about today. But that grind phase is like, my grind phase was I cold call 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year straight. And I was solo, doing everything myself, just boom, boom, grind, 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 grind. Like, it was just me. I was working 12, 13, 14-hour days, mostly 13-hour days, because I spent an hour on lunch and eating, an hour for working out, and then don't tell my mom, but like an hour or 2 on college. And that was basically like 5-6 hours sleep, and just wake up, do the next day, wake up, do the next day, wake up, do the next day, right? And that's the honest truth. And I got my degree on the side, so my mom's fine with it now, I guess. But yeah, just grinding my butt off. Like, that's the honest truth. And I think that's the problem most wholesalers have, is they're not willing to do that grind. And I hate to be that, I feel like an older guy saying this, but like, those dang millennials, those Gen Zers, right? I have found, if you're like a Gen Z, a really young person like my age, I put half of them into one category and half in the other. Most people my age, they will hit that grind phase. Half of them will just quit. Like, they're like, oh, this is too much work. I don't want to do it. Okay. And then this is the part no one ever talks about my generation. The other half are just grinders. Like, they are grinders to the core. Millennials were never like this. My generation's like this, where like half of them will work their butts off and expect nothing and just grind it out. It's a lot rare to find those type of people, but I even put half of them in that perspective, where they'll grind, do anything for what they want to do in their life, right? And it's really rare, but like half of my generation's like this. Other generations are a little different, the way they grew up and stuff, but there's a lot more self-accountability, I'd say, in my generation. I know people are going to be upset in the comments, but it's the honest truth, right? I'm that grind part. For every one of me, there's someone's perpetually lazy with it, but like, it makes excuses. But there's a lot of grinders out here, and you got to choose what part you're going to be in your wholesaling business, right? I can't tell you what to do. Grinding, I hate to say this, but like, it's just suffering, and it's suffering on every level. But when you go through the grind, what comes out of it's the most beautiful thing ever, right? And the best analogy, Eric Thomas said this. Love Eric Thomas, E.T. hip hop preacher. Check him out on YouTube. He's a great guy. Super motivational. When I'm not listening to a podcast in the gym, I'm listening to that guy. He's always said this, and I'm copying him, but I give him full credit for this. So I am putting it, but grinding is like making a diamond. And you got 2 diamonds out here. You got the guru diamond, the real diamond, right? And what I mean by this is there's those fake diamonds, those Straconian diamonds, Stracosian diamonds. Everyone can tell me in the comments. I'm definitely saying it wrong. Stracosian diamonds, but they're the fake. They're just fake diamonds. They're fake. Okay. They're fat. They're beautiful. Like, they're beautiful diamonds. They're great. When you got it on, you're looking like you're blinging out, right? And then you got the real diamond, right? The real diamond. What's the difference between a fake diamond and a real diamond? We're not talking about those lab-made diamonds, because those are different. But like, what's a real diamond versus those fake Stracosian diamonds? A real diamond, once you put it under pressure, will never break. It won't. That fake diamond, when it looks pretty, it looks sexy. Once you put pressure on that thing, it crushes. And why is that? Because to make that fake diamond, it's pretty easy. It was pretty easily made, right? There's not much struggle happening with it. You kind of made it there, it looks pretty. But once you put pressure, boom, done. A natural diamond was pretty much, most of the diamonds were, they're kind of in the ground in Africa, right? But like, I think a lot of them are like Sierra Leone or something like that. But like, they're brought underground with molten lava under the most extreme pressure known to man. Molten steel, the harshest conditions, nothing can be alive in those conditions. And they go through so much force and pressure and stress and like all this stuff. Once you put that piece of carbon through all that insane suffering and process and pressure, it becomes a diamond. And once it becomes that diamond, there's nothing you can do to crush that thing. There's probably some man-made things that can crush it, but like you have to be a diamond in wholesaling. You have to be the point where nothing will crush because you've been through so much. We're like, you're gonna do that? You said no to that offer? Okay, I've been through so much worse, right? That is the point of phase 2. It's all about that Cuban zirconia. Yeah, that's what I mean. And then phase 3, once you get to that point where you're grinding, most people do cold calling on this. There's other aspects. You're going to appointments, you're closing deals, you're actually getting some traction. Now we're on phase 3. This is where we're at. We are on the scale phase. This is where we make $1 million plus a year in wholesaling real estate. This is where we're at. And what's the only difference between going from that grind to that scale? That's what we're talking about today. And then from there, once you're scaling up even more, you go in the abundance. This is where I'm at. I'm in abundance, where it's, I honestly will tell you, once I made 100K, I don't think I was relatively happier because once money's not an issue, I remember making 100K where I knew like I didn't have to struggle for money if I worked hard. That was cool. I didn't have a job. But once I hit, I was the same level of happiness pretty much till I hit abundance, where like money was never an issue and my family's taken care of forever. That's pretty much like, there's not like I could make another $50 million. Like it's not going to make me a happier person, like more or less. Yeah, I can do more with it, but like at the point, it's a video game for me. And I'm just trying to be abundance and trying to help people out. Like that's the point of where I'm at now. So let's get you to that point from grind to scale. So if you're at Learn and Earn, keep going, keep learning, go to freewholesaling.com. It's all in there. But phase 2 is grinding, right? So when you're going from grinding to scale, let's kind of talk about this. Grinding is really you're doing everything yourself. And that's what we're talking about today. That's how we're going to really break it all down. And yeah, let's kind of break this all down the right way for success. So there's 2 ways to make $1 million in wholesaling real estate. There's the Guru way, the Zach way, right? So the easy way, you're going to work about 10 hours a week, make $1 million. This is very misleading, and I'll tell you the point of why I made it misleading on purpose. You will work 10 hours a week, but you're going to have to put in 100-hour weeks to get to 10 hours a week. And it's the concept of delayed gratification, which means you have to put all this suffering in the beginning, and at the end, you're Gucci, you're good. So I spent hundreds of hours a week literally training my staff and training my cold callers to the point where I work 10 hours a week. Now, I sometimes at 5 hours a week, maybe I have a brand new acquisitions person. It goes into like 20 a week for a little bit, and then it goes back to 5. I'm at like 10, 15 right now because I am training an acquisitions person currently. So I'm kind of at the 15. Once they're good in a couple of weeks, we'll be back to like 5. So it's like, I would say 10 hours is the average, but once you get an acquisitions person, you got to get some VAs. It's never the same, but that's pretty much where I'm at now on my business. Now, the hard way, you're working 90 hours a week. You got everyone doing, like you're basically doing a lot of the work. You're doing the yelling. You're micromanaging your employees. You're trying to run this crazy operation. You probably go to the office every day. Guys, I'll be straight up. I'm in my home little studio right here. Got my gaming PC. I check on all my stuff. I run my other businesses, and I kind of do it from my house. Like I'm in my house right now. Okay. Like you can't come in here and open and talk to me and annoy me on some Dolphins question or, oh, do you see this online? I'm in peace. So we love them. I'm just making fun. But like, what I mean by this is like, I'm at my own house. Like, wake up, get out of bed, walk, get a cup of coffee, get some water, open the door, boom, I'm in here. I can work, right? Like, that's what I do. The hard way is like, you got this crazy big office, this crazy big team, and like, you work 9 to 5, and like, you literally have a job now. And it's like, it's ridiculous, okay? Stupid. So like, that's the hard way. I've never seen the point of that. It's insane. It's so funny. Okay. But yeah. All right. So the next part here is like, so how do you do this? How do you go from basically easy million to a hard million, right? It's the power of delegation and leverage. And I want everybody to understand the power of delegation and leverage. because leveraging is going to be the most important reason. That's the reason why you're able to go from 100K to $1 million, because of leverage. And what does that mean? It basically means if I'm able to put $1 into something and get $5 back, let me put $100 in, get 500 back. Put $500 in, get $2,500 back, right? That's sort of the point of leveraging, where it's like, have you ever used a lever where like you can basically pick up something 1,000 pounds by kind of using a lever for it, or like you kind of have a dolly. I can move something that's 300, 400, 500 pounds without even lifting it. It doesn't even work that hard because I have a wheel, right? You can kind of lever the way you work, where you can kind of put, 50, let's say 100 hours a week of work on a dolly, and you push it and it's like, it feels like it's 10 pounds, right? So you're basically doing 2 hours of work, and that 2 hours is equal to 100 hours, right? That's the point of a delegation, right? You get people to do stuff for you. Maybe you pay someone 30, 40. I hope you guys know this is how employees work and employment works. If I pay you $50K a year to do this accounting job, and I'm able to produce $80, $90, $100,000 of value from it, and sales from just having that employee there doing the task, that's leverage, right? That's putting that dollar and getting $5 out. Most businesses, they put a dollar and they get $3 out, $1 and get $2 out, but like that's pretty much the concept of it. And that's what we do in wholesaling real estate. And this took me a very long time to learn, like an embarrassing amount of time to learn, okay? But it took me about 2.5, 3 years to learn this, but like that is the key. So if I'm working, 5 hours a day of cold calling, and I could hire someone for $6, $7, $8 an hour to do all of it for me, and that can produce me $60, $70 an hour just deals. That's not putting that dollar in, getting like $12 back, right? That is the point. Like that's what we're doing. And the point of that is getting out of your own way. And the way you got to look at leveraging, getting rich in wholesaling real estate, it all comes down to putting that dollar and getting the dollar out. So yes, a poor mindset would be, no, I got to put $1 in? No, that's stupid. How about I put no dollars in and I get that $70 back? The issue is you are spending your two resources, right? And this is like playing Clash of Clans. And if you never play Clash of Clans, I'm sorry, but like you had the gold and you had the elixir, right? And maybe you spent all of your elixir and now you got all this gold, but like it's like, well, I got no elixir left, right? And like, so I can't get more gold. The point of this is you could spend all your time and make the most money, but there comes to a point there's just not enough time left. And if you can't use that time anymore, then the extra time can't give you any more money. So you have to use some of that money with the time, multiply it, and get even better results. It's a multiplier because you can't do it all yourself. You will make Jeff Bezos makes more money by hiring warehouse staff than him being in the warehouse all day. He can get out of his own way, say, you know what, I know I'm going to lose $20 an hour, which I could do, but I'm going to have 50 people do it for me, and I'm going to make the high-level decisions. You got to get in your own way. It took me a very long time, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this so much. It drives me crazy, but you have to get out of your own way. It took me forever to stop cold calling because it was the thing that made me the money. It's the thing that changed my life, right? And once I learned to have someone cold call for me, unfortunately, they were, honestly, let's be honest, they're probably 60% as good as me. So if I had one person who was 60% as good as me, that means I've made 100K a year. Now they're doing the cold calling for me. Now I'm making 60K a year. This sucks, right? Like, I'm just going to cold call myself. Screw her, right? And I got to spend all this money. It's stupid, right? Now, what I learned was, yeah, that's stupid. But if I have two cold callers at $6, $7, $8 an hour, they were able to make me $120,000 a year. 3, that's going to make you 180. 4, 240. And I spent like $50,000 in salaries. Once I start learning that concept, you do only one, stupid, right? Once you get going, and you got to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, like you got to go slowly on it. But that is the point of scaling, getting rich, and wholesaling real estate. No other person talks about it. Your guru ain't going to talk about it. Your broke guru's auntie ain't going to talk about it. They don't want to talk. So most guru wholesaling systems, I even looked at the video just to confirm this. They claim about 45 to 55%, basically 45 to 55% profitability, which means they make $1 million their net after everything, not including taxes, is $450,000 to $550,000. Do you think that's kind of weird? That's what the gurus tells you. So if they claim to make $1 million in wholesaling fees, they're going to make 450 to 550, which I think is kind of stupid, right? Now, honestly, like I get it. Like they got to pay their employees, they got to do all this stuff, and they work their butts off. The way I teach, if you want to make $1 million, you can pretty much be at 65 to 80% profitability. You net $650 a year to $800,000 a year, and that's what no one talks about in wholesaling, right? And that $800,000 a year really comes down to, and I'm being completely honest with you guys, is like paying your marketing people and your dispositions people. The point is here, especially when it scales to $1 million, you don't need to hire out everybody to make $1 million a year in wholesaling real estate. And I think this is the point I think a lot of people get really confused. And guys, if you say screw the gurus, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I've never had that problem here, but whatever. All right. I've done hundreds of hours on the internet on this computer, but whatever. All right. So what I can tell you guys is the profitability becomes a lot better when you use the GIN system, the wholesaling system we teach, and that's what we do. So how do we do it? So what is our system, right? Let's kind of talk about our marketing acquisitions and disposition split. And that's the way we teach it, right? So how do I scale up a business when it comes to marketing, right? There's a lot of ways to do it. So there's a split between 3 ways of wholesaling. There's 3 arcs of wholesaling, right? Or 3 phases, not phases, but like 3 ways to structure a wholesaling, the 3 phases of it, right? Number 1, there's marketing, there's finding the deal, there's acquisitions, getting the contract for the deal, and then there's dispositions, selling the deal. That is the 3 core key tenets to wholesaling real estate, right? That is what we have to do from left to right. That is the decision, and that is the process we have to think about. So in essence here, how do I start scaling up an operation? What do I focus on, right? And every guru is going to tell you something a little differently, right? And the honest truth is you need to focus on marketing, number 1, because that is the part where you can pay someone 10, 15, 20 bucks an hour to do something that's going to give you hundreds of dollars an hour of work. Like that's the greatest, I don't want to say like arbitrage, right? Like that is the greatest arbitrage type factor on here, right? And that's the way you're going to get the best leverage currently. So what I want you guys to do is start hiring marketing, right? So if you're cold calling right now, get someone to cold call for you. If you're in that grind and you want to get out of it, marketing. Next part here is, believe it or not, it's probably going to be another marketing person, and then possibly a junior acquisitions manager, and then some dispositions person. And the last hire should be acquisitions. And the point of this, guys, is I just want you guys to know is acquisitions should be the last hire ever, because you get paid the most when you're going out there and putting properties under contract. That is the best use of your money, because it's very hard to find someone to do it. It takes hundreds of hours of even me, with all the videos I have, to train someone to be even at 70% of my level. Like insane amount of discipline, insane amount of teaching I have to do, insane amount of it all, right? So I just want you guys to understand the amount of work, the amount of insane effort I have to go through just to train an acquisitions person. And that's always gonna be my last hire. Okay, like straight up. And they're obviously get paid the most. So that is my split of kind of hiring people. So if you're just doing a regular wholesaling real estate business right now, it's like, what can you do to even get to that grind level? And how do I get even more money, right? Number 1, in marketing, I think a lot of people, like, they're struggling right now. Even when you're scaling up business, you have to get better lists. Before you start scaling, make sure you do all this stuff. And what makes somebody that's really good at scaling up operation versus not, for somebody who makes a ton of money in wholesaling versus not, it all comes back down to getting better lists. Most wholesalers are not doing the best list possible, and they honestly need to they have to start doing better lists. So these are government lists. Most people aren't pulling every single type of government list possible. If you're not, you need to be, right? It's not even about the type of marketing channel, because you can kind of do any channel possible, right? It's always getting that better list, which is probably gonna be the most important key factor I could say for success. Next one is, this is the biggest acquisitions issue I can tell you, is stop treating acquisitions like it's a sales thing. Acquisitions is all about focusing on people. If you can focus on the person you're talking to, the seller, and not about the real estate, you're going to make so much more money than like you could ever imagine, right? And this is the biggest issue I see from myself, like me and Rick together on this, and our philosophies on wholesaling, of why when we teach somebody wholesaling, why they do so much better than with a guru. It's because we focus on people. We don't focus on the property. We don't focus on the sick clothes bra, right? Like we focus on helping a person out. And I don't want to get all like, I don't know, mystic or I don't know, spiritual on you, but like the truth is, and this isn't even like, this is just statistics. It's like karma to a point. Like if you just do the right thing and you do what's out, if you actually make less money and help a seller out and you make a win-win that everyone's okay with, over time, you're going to make more money than if you didn't, right? And greed will never help you win. Like greed will never win, especially when it comes to making a great operation. It will never win. It's always about the people and satisfying the people with your solution, which is the cash offer on the property, right? And that's sort of when I want to talk. Like that's why I'm so into YouTube and teaching people, is because like without me and Rick, no one would ever talk about this. And wholesaling real estate would be a lot more slimier. And this without us, it'd be terrible, right? And so that's why we kind of had to go to the shadows and kind of teach you wholesaling, because these gurus are just so bad. They're all just dog water, you know. They're all poop. And unfortunately, there's just so much terrible information they're giving. I had to get rid of the garbageness, right? And that's why I give you this information. But like, focus on the people, focus on helping the people in their problems. It'll help you out so much. Like, I try to focus on helping you guys. Like that's how I make my videos. Like, how can I help the people out? Not how much I can make money or views I can get on videos, like helping the people. And honestly, maybe this video is only for 2 or 3 people, but like, that's the point, right? So it's hard. You got to get out of your own way. And when it comes to hiring people, that's going to be the hardest part I did. And that's the part you guys got to understand. Dispositions is a big one too. This is all about quality over quantity. And I get so many people like, Zach, I have 5,000 cash buyers in my list. I don't care how many stinking cash buyers you got. Do you got 5 cash buyers ready to buy a property at a moment's notice? If you don't, then you have 0 cash buyers, okay? This business, especially in the market shift you're having right now, like cash buyers are way more important, which means you need to be focusing on the people. Like, guys, what I say like just 5 minutes ago, focus on the people. Cash buyers are people. They are not like businesses. And like, what is a business? It's a collection of people to a point, right? Like a business is theoretically a person if you really look at the law in the United States of America. So like it's all people, right? And I think that's something you guys got to focus on. Like you can create that connection with the cash buyer and make it an actual relationship with a person. You're going to make more money than ever with a motivated seller. If you look at them as a person and not a contract and a deal you can make money off of, it changed. Like obviously you're there to make money, but like focusing on the person and their solution and what you can do, that's going to make you more money than anything. And I stress this so much, and I hope I get this point across to somebody out here, but like that is the point. Focus on people. If you do not focus on people, you'll not be successful. So please focus on the people, guys and gals. It's really important. And this is the last part I talk about. I talk about this forever, but like, guys, wholesaling real estate, this is why I love it so much. This is why it's different than any type of side hustle and business out here. This isn't Forex. This isn't crypto. This isn't, your grandma's whatever little coin project. They have a picture of a gorilla, and they put a gator on top of it. Now it's got bunny ears. I could care less. Like it's not that, okay? Those little side hustle businesses, whatever you want to call it, it's an X's and O type business, right? Like it's buy, sell, buy, sell. We are emotionally detached from this business. Drop shipping. We are emotionally attached. Amazon FBA, storage. We are emotionally detached from this, and we don't care about the emotions or the people involved with what we're doing. That is not good, and that is what I don't do. Real estate wholesaling, on the other hand, has all of the emotions associated with it. It has all of the people things with it, right? Like, and that is the people look at it as an issue, right? And it's actually one of the biggest benefits that real estate has all this emotion and issues and drama and really the need of you to help people out. The reason is because you have all this crazy, insane issues with people and solutions with it. You're able, like just me, a 17-year-old kid, can find somebody with that issue, deal with the emotional issues with it. And as a 17-year-old, I was able to find and build a connection with a cash buyer, sell that wholesaling deal, and make $25,000 with no money at all. Because you have all this emotional It's because you have all this emotional baggage on these deals, you're able to make money on these deals without any money at all. Where if there's just no emotions associated with it, you have to put $5, $10, $15,000 to be doing this, right? And it's so funny the way wholesalers look at other businesses and they want to get into it. Like, it's just so funny, but that's not the truth. You got to focus on the people. And once you start focusing on the people, I promise you guys and gals, your life will change. And your wholesaling life will change. The money you make change. And if you're going to make millions of dollars in wholesaling and you're not following this advice, start making some money and then you're going to start changing, then things change, right? Like, it's all about helping the seller with their issue. And that's the point. So guys, that's my little rant. That's my little spiel on this. That's just me ranting forever how to make $1 million in wholesaling real estate. I hope 3 or 4 people listen to me there and maybe they got some value from it. But like, that is how you do it. I don't care what ifs, ands, or buts you say about it. I can bait you all day. That is how you do it. And without further ado, let me answer some questions you guys have on that. Let me see what kind of questions you have on this. I'd love to know. But yeah, let's kind of get into some questions.